Archetype Entertainment has finally dropped the first ever uninterrupted showcase of Exodus gameplay. How's it going, by the way? Mr. Holten here. And now before I start breaking this footage down, I should remind you that this is just a teaser for what's to come, as the Archetype devs will be showcasing much more of the game throughout the year. Speaking of which, remember to subscribe because of course I will be covering that as well. Now, let's check out the first part of this new reveal. So in this first section of the new gameplay, we can see the player using the right D-pad to use Elise's micro-missile ability. And yes, they're playing this with the PlayStation 5 controller, obviously. Now, I really like the area of effect these missiles have when they start exploding. I really hope they don't nerf that. Also, you can definitely hear that they've paid particular attention to the sound effects, because man, is it crunchy. Thumbs up for sure. Now, whoever is showcasing is also using what's called the Piercer setting on the Recycler, which is the rifle June is using and which has different modes depending on the situation. And of course, in the spirit of Mass Effect, we have cover shooting and shields to deal with this first enemy being a drone firing rapid lasers. We then see the player activating the other of Elise's skills, this time being a knockdown missile, which seems to stun the drone and instantly deals a ton of damage to it. Now, Chris King, the director for Exodus, has said that Exodus will contain a lot of elements from games like the Horizon games, where you shoot at various weak points to destroy your enemies. And of course, we see that on full display here as the player, or June, is targeting the drone's propeller here. And as that propeller, well, is destroyed, the drone then crashes and gets destroyed. And it's very, very similar to one particular game that came out last year, indeed, Arc Raiders. And that's not a bad thing, because, I mean, I could pop those drones all day. Besides, this is just one of the various enemy types you'll run into as you play Exodus, so no, you won't just be shooting drones all day. Now, we can also see hit markers with text telling you how effective your attacks are, with strong and critical popping up as June keeps shooting. And as the drone gets destroyed, we can see what seems like physics-based death animations as it spins to the ground. Now, to the right, we can also see what seems like June's shields getting drained. And yes, it automatically recharges when you take cover from enemy fire. Now, as June bridges the gap to the next enemy, who interestingly has a name, first we can see a stamina bar pop up, so you won't be able to infinitely sprint everywhere during combat at least. And then we see him swap modes on the Recycler to the Impact setting, which is the gun's rapid fire mode. Again, I love the attention to detail here, where we see the Recycler like transforming when he's changing modes. Now, blink and you'll miss it, because we also see a mod dropping after killing Mr. Biggs here. And as far as we know, these mods can be equipped to your weapons and your armor to upgrade them in various ways. We can also see during the slow-mo pause that yes, you can just straight up craft your ammo on the field, which is something Chris mentioned in one of the previous Q&A videos. Now, we don't get to see Tom's abilities in use here, but we can see during the slow-mo menu that he has access to a cryo bomb and an energy siphon being his ultimate ability, so he seems more comparable to, I guess, an engineer in Mass Effect. Anyway, on to the next section. Now here we see June exploring a very tall space tower above a planet, and I gotta say, first impressions, that vista, damn, that is gorgeous. Oh, and the soundtrack, by the way, oh. Now here we get to see some platforming as June uses a grapple to zip up ledges, then proceeds to balance over a very precarious walkway. I do wonder if you can fall over here and die. I really hope you can. Don't make it too safe, Archetype. Please make sure we can die from stupid shit like that. Anyway, June continues zipping up to the next platform, and next up is a swinging section in classic adventure style, and again, Chris King has confirmed that there will be a lot of this stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to exploring in this game, because that will be a big factor, a big element. Now, for the last section. Now in this section we see June interacting with this shrine doorway, but there's also this notification to the left that suggests that we can investigate something as well. And as June enters the shrine, there's suddenly two things that can be investigated. So I'm definitely curious as to what this is. Perhaps the Codex? Anyhow, to give some context to this room, well, this is a celestial vault. Celestials being the godlike aliens you'll encounter in the game, and of which I've already covered in one of my lore videos, by the way, so go check that out if you want to learn more about them. That said, vaults will also be a major element to exploration, where you'll find various celestial items that are either story-centric or straight-up upgrades for June. Well, alright then, that's it for the breakdown of this new gameplay that we've seen. Now it's time for some of my own thoughts here. And well, I think this looks pretty good. Everything seems smooth, this game seems to play really smoothly, like the environment design is great, it looks really good. The gameplay looks like it feels like Mass Effect, let's be real. It looks like it feels like a good Mass Effect game. Now this is something we've seen before, but June definitely shows that kind of nimbleness that Shepard or even Ryder has in the Mass Effect game. So I'm really looking forward to controlling June here and just, you know, platforming and whipping around with the zip line or whatever. And, you know, it just looks way more visceral, I guess I would say. And again, the focus on exploration, despite being a very like main story centric game, is something I'm very much looking forward to. All this said, despite my positive attitude to the game, and I don't want to sound ungrateful here because I have been invited to the Game Awards 2025 and I got to speak to some of the devs like Drew Karpyshyn, Chris King, and Chad Robertson, and so I really appreciate that, but I do want to bring up one thing that I noticed, and I have talked about this before in the previous trailer, I think it was, is that the enemies seem kind of, what do you say, stale? Like it doesn't, they don't really move a lot. From this section that we saw here, we can see the robots, like none of them are taking cover, and the named NPC, Mr. Biggs, he's basically, he has like the same stance the entire time as they're shooting on him. So I do wonder if this is just, you know, meant as a showcase to just showcase how the combat may look. And of course, you know, this is not final for the game. There's obviously still polishing it a lot for, you know, the release next year, but that is something I noticed, that I really hope the enemies actually do dynamically take a lot of cover and try to outsmart you and outflank you, and you know, then again, you know, it might be a difficulty setting, that could also be a thing, so let's be fair here, that could be the thing. But I really hope it's like, okay, if you want to play on normal or slightly more difficult, like the game will start kicking your ass. I really hope that is the case, because I prefer challenge to my games. Hopefully it's not a big deal, but I just gotta mention it because it was very noticeable to me. By the way, what is something that you guys would like to see in terms of gameplay, that is? Let me know in the comments below, because I have a feeling that the Archetype folks will be watching. Just a feeling. Anyway, thank you for watching and have a great day. Mr. Alton, signing off.